So today we'll be working in my workbook called The Family of Abraham, which covers Genesis chapters 19, verse 30 through Genesis chapter 25, verse 18. And we've already done the first chapter, which had to do with Lot leaving Sodom and Gomorrah, ending up in the mountains, and the creation of the nations of Moab and Ammon. And that was an interesting chapter to be sure. So now we're going to deal with chapter 2, which is Abraham and Abimelek. So let's go there. Abraham and Abimelek, Genesis 20, 1 through 18. Genesis 21. Now Abraham moved on from there into the region of Negev and lived between Kadesh and Shur. For a while he stayed in Gerar. So you see the map here where he's come down from Hebron and to the edge or the Negev desert. He had been there before, if you recall. Then he comes up to Gerar, and after a while, then he stays in Gerar. So he's moving around a bit. Where did Abraham live before? And that would be Hebron. Abraham and Sarah both lived in Hebron. Draw a line from this place to Gerar. This is about 30 miles. So if he went straight from Hebron to Gerar, it'd be about 30 miles, but he takes a long route there. Okay. Why did Abraham move? There is no reason that we know of. However, perhaps he no longer wanted to overlook the cities of the Dead Sea that had been decimated by God, or perhaps his herds needed different grazing land. What is Gerar between? Gerar is between Gaza and Beersheba. And the scriptures here would tend to give you the impression that it was between Kadesh and Shur. And Shur is the wilderness of Shur is right there. So that could also, he traveled up and then Gerar is between Gaza and Beersheba. So however you want to answer that. And we see it on the lower map here, a better understanding of towards Shur between the wilderness of Shur and Kadesh. Okay. Why do you think Abraham moved his large herd, people, and possessions? Well, since he had a large herd and people, it's probably due to food he can find. Perhaps that was the reason. I don't know, but obviously you need to support your flocks and everything. So that definitely could be it. Based on the description in the verse above, place a star on the map to the right where Gerar probably is. To the right where Gerar probably is. Okay, star. Probably right here somewhere, right? Make that black so it's easy to see. Okay, probably in there somewhere. Do you remember who took this road to Shur on our way to Egypt? If you look back, the person who took this road to Shur on our way to Egypt would have been Hagar, the Egyptian slave of Sarah when she ran away. The scripture continues, and there Abraham said of his wife Sarah, "This is my sister." Then Abimelek, king of Gerar, sent for Sarah and took her. But God came to Abimelek in a dream one night and said to him, "You are as good as dead because of the woman you have taken. She's a married woman." So this was actually not an abnormal thing of the day. Um, it more for political reasons. If you take the sisters or these things, then be less likely for opposing kingdoms to attack each other. This existed up through all the kings and queens of our day, even. This is the second time Abraham is going to use this lie. Where was he when he used this lie the first time? The first time he used the lie was when he went to Egypt. Did the previous time Abraham lied result in a good conclusion? Absolutely not. He was found out and he was disgraced because of it. Who took Sarah from Abraham? Abimelek. In Egypt, why was Sarah taken? Because of her beauty. Is there anything in the above scriptures that say that is the same reason here? No, it doesn't say anything about her beauty. Good grief, she's 99 years age. I doubt that, or what, something like that, 89. Um, Bible scholars believe it was not for beauty, but for political reasons that Abimelech took Sarah. He probably had a harem of wives for similar reason, which was to prevent war with your wealthy neighbors. Abraham had a vast amount of wealth and possessions. Sarah's probably 90 years of age, although her body's being rejuvenated by God to have a child soon. And the scriptures continue. Genesis 24. Now Abimelech had not gone near her, so he said, Lord, will you destroy an innocent nation? Did he not say to me, she is my sister, and didn't she also say, he is my brother? I've done this with a clear conscience and clean hands. Who came to Abimelech in a dream? The Lord did, right? God did, yes. Came to him in a dream. Does this mean that God can talk to believers and non-believers? Yep, he can talk to believers and non-believers. We're all created by him. What did God tell Abimelech? Hmm. Um, you are as good as dead because of the woman you have taken. She is a married woman. Had Abimelech been intimate with Sarah yet? No, he hadn't been intimate with her yet, excuse me. Had Abimelech known that Sarah was Abraham's wife? No, he had not known that. Had Abimelech known that he did something wrong when he took Sarah? No, it was just the custom of the day. What is Abimelech's argument to God? Are you going to destroy an innocent nation? I did not know. Why hold me accountable for something I didn't know? Is it okay to question God? Why? Yes, it is okay to question God. It's okay to ask questions of God. That's how we learn from him. Had Abimelech known that he did something? Okay, we did that. Number 9, notice that Abimelech doesn't just say God is going to destroy him, but an innocent nation. We will later find out about the curse God put on Abimelech's wives and female slaves. Thereby, the royal line of the kingship of Gerar was in jeopardy due to him taking Sarah into his household. If Abimelech did not do anything wrong, why is God cursing him and his family? To make sure he does it, to kind of give him a warning. He has a choice. You can choose this woman and have problems with your family, or you can let her go. So the scriptures continue. Genesis 26. Then God said to him in the dream, Yes, I know that you did this with a clear conscience, and so I have kept you from sinning against me. That is why I did not let you touch her. Now return the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you will live. But if you do not return her, you may be sure that you and all who belong to you will die. Did God know that Abimelech did not knowingly do something wrong? Yes, he did know that. What was the reason then that God cursed him and his family so that he would come close to Sarah and that I had to keep you from sinning and these things so he would stop taking her closer to him. What does God call Abraham? Prophet. If Abimelech returns Sarah to Abraham, then what two things will happen? Really three, but the third is implied. He will pray for you. Abraham will pray for you, and he will live. The curse will be removed from your wives and female servants is the one that's implied. If Abimelech did not return Sarah, what would happen to Abimelech and all his family? If he does not return Sarah to Abraham, then you and all your nation will die. So the scriptures continue. Genesis 28. Early the next morning, Abimelek summoned all his officials, and when he told them all that had happened, they were very much afraid. Then Abimelek called Abraham in and said, "What have you done to us? How have I wronged you that you have brought such great guilt upon me and my kingdom? You have done things to me that should never be done." What time of day did Abimelek summon his officials? Early the next morning, right after he had the dream. What did Abimelek tell his officials? All that had happened, and they were very much afraid. Who did Abimelek call in to where all of them were gathered? Abraham. Bring Abraham to the front and center here. Abimelek, a pagan king, chastises Abraham, a prophet of God. He said to Abraham, "What have you done to us?" And B, "How have I wronged you that you have brought such great um, guilt upon me and my kingdom?" There is really a belief here that you do not take other people's wives. You have done things to me that should never be done. That is, give me your wife and therefore curse me. Whose fault was it that Abimelech took Sarah with the intent to make her his wife? Abraham, really. Sarah went along with it, but Abraham, really. Is lying ever a good testimony of our faith in God? No, it isn't. We should never lie. Um, yeah, we call sometimes white lies, but we should never lie. Mm. So the scriptures continue. Genesis 20:10. And Abimelech called Abraham, "What was your reason for doing this?" Abraham replied, "I said to myself, there is surely no fear of God in this place, and they will kill me because of my wife. Besides, she really is my sister, the daughter of my father, though not of my mother, and she became my wife. And when God had me wander from my father's household, I said to her, 'This is how you show your love to me. Everywhere we go, say of me, he is my brother.'" Other than stating that Sarah actually is his half sister, Abraham gives two other excuses as to why he did this lie that basically blames others. He replies, A, there is no fear of God in this place, and they would surely kill me because of my wife. What did God tell him in Genesis 15:1? I am your protection and your shield, right? Let's see if I can back to my thing. Uh, I'm your shield. Hmm. Doesn't this mean that God protected him? He would promised he would protect him? Doesn't this mean that God promised he would protect him? Yes. This does mean that God would protect Abraham and Sarah. So B, God had had me wander from my father's household. Who is Abraham blaming here for his lack of security? God. What did God promise Abraham in Genesis 15:15? God promised Abraham he would have peace until he dies, so he didn't have to worry about war. But Abraham takes the blame off whom? Sarah. Sarah. He does not blame Sarah for following his instructions. That's one good thing, at least. So the scriptures continue. Then Abimelech brought sheep and cattle and male and female slaves and gave them to Abraham, and he returned Sarah, his wife, to him. And Abimelech said, "My land is before you. Live wherever you like." To Sarah, he said, "I am giving your brother 1,000 shekels of silver. This is to cover the offense against you before all who are with you. You are completely vindicated." What four things did Abimelech give to Abraham? Sheep, cattle, male and female slaves, and right, and silver, actually. Where does Abimelech tell Abraham he can live? He can live wherever he likes in the land. What is Abimelech giving to Abraham for Sarah? 1,000 shekels of silver. What does Abimelech call Abraham in verse 16? Your brother. This seems like a sarcastic statement since he now knows Abraham is her husband. For verse 16, the Amplified Bible translates, Look, I have given this brother of yours 1,000 pieces of silver. It is to compensate you for all that has happened and to vindicate your honor before all who are with you. Before all men, you are cleared and compensated. Abimelek clearly did not hold Sarah accountable for doing what what her husband asked of her. So, um, so the scriptures continue. Genesis 20:17. Then Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelek, his wife, and his female slaves, so that they could have children again. For the Lord had kept all the women in Abimelek's household from conceiving because of Abraham's wife Sarah. We now know the curse that had been put on Abimelek, his wife, and his female slaves. What was it? That they could not have children again. Did Abraham pray for Abimelek? Yes, he did pray for Abimelek. In the story of Abraham and Abimelek, we see the reverse of what we would expect between a pagan and a God-fearing man. It is Abraham, the God-fearing man, who doesn't trust his God enough to tell the truth, whereas we have Abimelek, pagan king, having not only a strong moral character, but rewarding Abraham when he should be cursing him. Let's look at the mistakes Abraham made and what he could have done. In Genesis 22, Abraham refers to Sarah as his sister. What should he have done? Abraham should have referred to Sarah as his wife. In Genesis 20:11, Abraham is afraid as there is none in this place that fear God. Who should he have asked for protection from? God himself. 5, if Abraham feared for his life, who should he have gone to? God himself. 6, did Abraham pass or fail this test? He failed it. And Psalm 7:10, my shield is God Most High, who saves the upright in heart. So this was one test Abraham did not pass. So we come to the end of the chapter with the crossword. Okay, number 1, God called Abraham a prophet, called him a prophet. Number 5, Abimelek gave Abraham 1,000 shekels of silver for Sarah. Number 6, God had kept all the women in Abimelek's household from conceiving because of Sarah. Number 9, God came to Abimelek in a dream. So 2 down. Early the next morning after the dream, Abimelek summoned all his officials. Instead of his wife, Abraham called Sarah his sister. One of Abraham's excuses is God had him wander. Just make sure that's, wander from his father's household. And 7, what town area is between Kadesh and Sur? That would be Gerar. Who did Abimelek return to Abraham? Sarah. All righty. So that's the end of this chapter. I hope you enjoyed it. And that's to teach us not to lie. Yeah. Have a good day.